We are
Cl-
recording.
Yeah, you click go, and we're live on Twitch.
Cool.
So cool.
All right. Welcome, welcome. What's up, Bernice?
All good.
Wow, so good to see you.
It's been so long. That's insane.
I know. So good to see you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like following your life about 2 years ago.
And you're in Rio.
Yeah, like with the noise of Rio and everything, but I'm in Rio.
Wow.
Do you want to tell everyone what you're doing in Rio, Bernice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the bootcamp of Le Wagon, and I am at week 7 out of 9. Well, it's project part now, and that's it.
Awesome. What project are you working on?
This week is a kind of exercise just to see while we are creating a kind of marketplace for second-hand clothes, but for people who are plus size. But the big project is about providing services like sophrology, meditation, yoga to people who are working, while we bring coach straight to their job.
Very cool. Sounds like fun. Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
So,
overwhelming.
So tell us how it works. Like what are the so you're bringing wellness to the workplace.
Yeah, I did some research in France, and I was seeing, I think I already talked about it a bit with Nick, like back 6 months ago. And I just saw that Brazil is the second country the most stressed in the world after Japan. And here it's like a really crazy life. People take a lot of transport, and it's hard to practice like some like sports which allow you to don't be stressed anymore, to help, to bring colleagues together, because I think feeling good in a workplace is the best thing we can have, like, because we spend most of our life working. And yes, I thought about opening like some class which are kind sport in some way, like really soft, and bring it to the workspace, and like it to bring colleagues together, and also to have some moment to don't stress anymore.
Wow. So as a teacher, as like a meditation teacher or a yoga teacher, I would be able to sign up for this platform as a teacher?
That's kind of Uber, like you go on the platform and you say I'm available now, like I want to have a teacher who come tomorrow at midday. You have all the teachers which are around and can come, and you can talk with them, or you just can do a reservation, you pay online, and after the teacher just come at the program time. It's really, really simple. It says not many features. It's like straight to the information website, but that's it.
Super cool. Wow. Nice. And is it something that you want to work on after the bootcamp?
I think I would like to, because I'm really liking to code, but I think I like the universe of entrepreneurship, and like to really bring the team together, to really look for information, to be a bit everywhere. I think I like it. Well, why not after? I'm really looking forward.
Cool. And so the business model of the platform would be like you would take a percentage of the class fees.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't thought yet about all those parameters, but yeah, that's it. That's basically taking a percentage. I think the only hard thing we're gonna face is how to be sure that the person gonna make a reservation with one teacher and don't give just the WhatsApp and keep working with this person just through WhatsApp. And yeah, that's basically
yeah. I have experience with that. It's called the band hammer. So you got to introduce the band hammer and use the band hammer when people try and go outside of the network, right? And it's an unfortunate reality of the model, right? You not only have churn, but you also have when the relationships, there's like a different metric for this, right? And you can actually project it, like if you have 100 teachers on the network you basically like assume that 2 or 3% of those are going to go towards individual relationships.
Yeah.
Right. So it's something you got to project for, like almost like professional churn. It's just like it's a part of the problem, but you don't have to worry about that out of the bat. Something down the road.
You said you faced like a really slow percentage. Finally, it's not like I would say 50% of people will end up just giving the WhatsApp and make it informal out of the application.
Well, even if they do, what you want to do is make it so. I mean, you're going after the workplace, right? So I would imagine that if you're going after workplaces, you're going to have a lot of different practitioners, right? And normally in workplace environment, there's one person who's responsible for booking out all the health, being, and wellness things for the whole team for the next 3 months. I think where you can really make an impact is making that part easy, making it so you can go on this as the office manager, right, for 60 people and book out 2 or 3 months of health and wellness, 1 class a week, right?
Okay.
So if the health and wellness coach comes to you and is like, hey, you can go outside the network, they might do that, but you just want to make it so easy that, they're actually more inclined to use the platform because the value it provides not only from a scheduling perspective, but also from a payouts perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like just because we just have to always remind that people are lazy and they just want the easiest way to do.
Yeah, that's right. But also, I think you can copy quite a lot of things from Upwork. I've used it a lot, and I think a lot of people, they at least take a long time to leave the platform and just go off, individually because of, for example, payment security. Like the platform always talking like about, how they've got payment protection and things, and I think this helps a lot as well with those kind of things.
Yeah.
And realistically, when you have a professional who churns, who's like goes outside the network and gives personal contact information, we find out about it, they always want to come back. It's the strangest thing. Like they get kicked off the platform and they're like, oh wait, what fuck? You guys are scaling, you guys have more business for me, and now I can't do anything. So it's a matter of habit, and like the truth is in the beginning, even if you discover this happens, like kick them off and let them back is my advice. Like it's ultimately it's a try winning experience, right? You have the professional who wins, the company, like the middleman who wins, and the end client. So if you have more inventory available.
That's nice to know. Yeah, I didn't know like what impacts will have this informal reservation, and yeah, finally it seems like with your experience, not like that much and not really impacting some the business.
And I also
another
think
thing is, go ahead. I have one more thing on this. Sorry, I've dealt with this exact problem.
yeah, for sure.
Don't plan for problems you don't have yet, right? You're thinking about the problems of what you're building and all the challenges you're going to run into. I encourage you to work to the point where you have that problem, right? Yeah. The best case scenario is that you facilitate a connection between a business and a mindful teacher that is so valuable that they actually connect outside of you, right? You're still that bridge. And once you have that problem, you're going to be in a very good place. So I encourage you, don't get too caught up in that inevitability, right? Yeah. And focus on getting that problem, right? Like focus on the good things that will happen and all the great things that you can do so you will have that problem, and don't worry about all the problems that come up. You'll figure it out when you get there.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And also it's not like a problem that's big enough to like not destroy your whole business. It might like either chip away a little bit at some revenue, whatever, but it'll be sweet.
Yeah, about 1.5 to 2% is like regular projections on that, based on like now we've got 10 years of SaaS to look at.
So one of my questions is around the class sizes and the sizes of the companies that you were thinking of. Like, are you looking at specific size of companies? Are you looking at big corporations? Are you looking at startups, mid-size? And then also, would the price of the classes change based on the amount of people participating in them? What were you thinking there?
Firstly, for the last point, I think it will be like one price, and like I really want the people to be able to share the price or give the option to the company to pay for the employee. And I think it's just gonna be the same price for hours. It doesn't matter if you're 1 or if you're 10 in the class. After the teacher can say, I don't want now more than 8 people, for example, but that's it. After we were talking about targeting companies over 50 people, but I don't think like no, we said between 30 and like 100 people, because over 100 many companies have already intern solution.
Wait, what's the internal solution over 100? Out of curiosity.
A lot of people here in Brazil have gym pass, which give you access to many gyms that the company pay for you, or they can even have internal like solution, like you can maybe book people in some companies or something like it. But we have to see like how much work it asks to this company to create this thing in intern. But I think at the beginning it will be like more young companies, because I think it's like more young companies who care about the wellness of the employee. But yeah, not like really tiny companies. I think it's gonna be a second target. If they wanna come in the business and make a booking, they can, but we don't gonna focus on them. I think I was like seeing more between 30 and 100 people. It's already like a lot of companies, and starting in Rio de Janeiro, as I'm here, still have to learn Portuguese a lot. But that just fits young companies. They're gonna speak English, and that's gonna be nice.
Yeah. And are you building it in Portuguese?
We are
like for the project.
In Le Wagon, they want us to build it in English, and I don't think it's a really good idea if we want to target like a company in Brazil, because we all know that in Brazil they are not especially really good with English, and it could be like a big gap to access to customers. But
for sure. So I'm not sure what the teacher has, parameters they've set, but if this is something that you do want to work on after the boot camp, then you may want to look into building it in English using I-18N, which is, and I guess there's a Rails implementation for I-18N. So I-18N. So it'll allow you to have all of the strings that are in your application. Also, it's so cool that you now know what strings are. That's dope. That's dope that like we could just talk about strings. So you'll have all of your strings in the application in a single file, right? And then you'll basically be injecting, so you'll have it all in a single file, so that when you wanted to create a Portuguese version, you just create another file for the Portuguese, and then you're basically slotting in the languages into the HTML with that I-18N JSON file. So anyway, you should look into I-18N if this is something that you want to actually look at testing in Rio afterwards.
Nice.
Yeah, I would focus on getting the initial setup, like talking to these practitioners, right? I would be interviewing these guys, reaching out to them to say, during COVID, everyone and their mother who's in this space has now created a new offer, right? It's going to be for classes, going to be targeted for companies, and one of the jobs of your platform is going to be to inform and instruct them on how to transition from a market that used to be based around these yoga shalas or these meditation places, right? That's now, most of these people got let go. So, one of the things you'll have to do is really get to know these people through interviewing, and also provide the resources to teach them, hey, here's how you make that transition, and here's how you position yourself for a company, right? Like the fact that you're doing one flat price, I think that's actually very, very, it's not a good way of thinking. I think it should be a different price for 3 people, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, right? Like one, you can hold it through Zoom, and like, you can scale to infinity. Maybe you should do more research around all the different business models and the way they can scale their companies, because they'll come on the platform and you'll recommend and have the interface for one flat price, when really there can be 1 to 3 offers of small, medium, large size companies, right? The other thing is, the bigger the company, the more they're used to paying. So you have to establish a bit of legitimacy by charging more money, right? They might not sign up because it's too cheap, right? That's what happens in these bigger companies. So, I really encourage you to get to know the people who want to be the initial teachers, and, focus on teaching them how to transition into this new world of serving companies. That's going to make or break you. It's going to be the professionals, right? I think it'd be really cool during your demo day at the end of Le Wagon, they do like a day where you demo the product, to actually have a local teacher who is booked through the platform come in and do a 5-minute meditation or something. I just think it'd be cool.
Yeah,
Or
but we don't have time for it. That's so sad. It's demo day.
You're gonna do great.
But yeah, it would be, I mean, great point of, yeah, that should be your starting point, right? Before even like looking at launching this out is, well, also I would say if you do want to work on this afterward, there are a lot of projects that come out of Le Wagon where people then end up rebuilding them afterward. Because, they usually tell you, don't try to create a launchable product in the project, but that's something for you to decide. But also, secondly, piggybacking off of what Nick said, yeah, I think it's about talking to people, talking to those companies that are 30 to 100 people, asking them who are the decision makers in these companies for something like this, right? Is it your HR person? Is it the CEO? Is it, right? Who are the decision makers there? Talk to them, get their thoughts on it, right in Rio, right in the area. And also, like Nick was saying, talk to the instructors, right? Because once you understand how both of those users are thinking, then it's like, and then you're also making connections to be able to then test it with those instructors and those companies, right? But I think there's so much value in finding those people and talking to them.
For sure.
Always.
Yeah. Hold on. So no, that's actually really good advice. That's really what you want to do at this point, just talk to a lot of people. I think, from the sound of it, it's going to be the businesses that are going to basically open up their wallets, and it's the yoga teachers that are going to benefit from a lot of new clients, right? So if you look at that, then usually it's the people, the side of the equation that are going to open their wallet, where you want to probably do most research, I would say, because they're actually your customers, your clients, So something that is really interesting that you can learn a lot from, that will give you really understanding of like how big is a problem that you're solving. When you talk to these companies, try to figure out what they're doing right now to solve their problem. Like, are they really frustrated when they're trying to book wellness programs, create wellness programs for their employees? Is it costing them a lot of money? Is it really inefficient? What is the issue there? Ideally, there's some sort of issue that you can improve dramatically and make it either cheaper, easier, more efficient, whatever. And that's going to be your value proposition for these companies. So I think that's really important as well. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Berenice, you there? Oh, I thought it froze.
I'm hearing everything.
I saw your screen freeze for a bit.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes really sense, because finally, yeah, I think we are just coming with a solution at the beginning, but we don't have any answers of what are the solution yet and how to make it really worthy for them.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So usually I'm a big fan of a guy called Ash Moria. He created the Lean Canvas. I don't know if you guys use that at Le Wagon. So he always says, fall in love with the problem, not the solution. So I think this is really, really, good advice. Really try to focus on like, what's the problem that you're solving? Research as much as you can and really see like, what are the things that you can really improve on within that problem. And then the solutions, you'll really quickly come up with different solutions that you can test and see what sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in your communication, right? I think, yeah, because you stated in the beginning that you were doing this research and you found that Brazil is, stressed out. And I think there's, in communicating the value proposition to companies, another angle or something to look into is just the increased I hate the word productivity, but the increased like productivity in the workplace that you get when you actually have, when you do have yoga teacher coming in, when you do have a mindfulness meditation session in the middle of the day, right? That actually affects that's a benefit not only for the employees but for the company, and being able to position it that way and communicate that value proposition. So when you're looking into the problem deeper, that's also something that you can be looking at. Is just that increased like performance. That's the word, performance. Fuck productivity. Let's talk about performance. I think that's a better word.
Wait, what's the problem with productivity?
I don't know. I think we place a lot of value on producing as a workplace, as a society, I think we put this value on producing and production, and we measure countries by how much they produce, right? We measure the success of a country based on GDP, right? How much do you produce? What's your gross domestic product? I think everything's like in this industrial revolution production machine. Whereas I think performance is a more holistic way to look at it. How is my individual performance? Because I am not defined by how much I can produce at work. I think I'd more rather be defined by how I perform as an individual. Right. So I'd prefer the word performance over productivity.
Better be productive.
Personally.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting.
No, I dig it.
There's a probably a really big issue. Maybe it's not so much productivity by itself, but more like how they measure productivity. Maybe that's really where the issue is, right? Because
yeah, for sure, exactly.
Because ultimately, it's almost the same thing as performing. Just that productivity is measured in a specific way. Performing can be anything. So,
for sure.
I think we're kind of getting off track though. I could really dive into this.
Berenice, do you have any questions looming, or
no,
are you good?
I think it's a good point. I think you should really focus on the copy around the holistic human, right? And position the copy for the companies around, hey, your company's gonna be better off through this platform, right? You're providing a vitamin, not a steroid. It's kind of what he's saying. It's like steroid for maximum productivity. No, it's like they're actually going to be more holistically happy. I'm not sure if that's the culture in Rio to make them that way either.
Yeah. I've been researching about it. I think the classic week in Brazil is 44 hours a week. Well, which is like insane. In France, it's 35, and I was sometimes already dying. Like when you have a really hard job. And I think yes, because I think it's the best way to be productive and with like many hours. And I think nowadays we have to maybe think more about having how we can say that, like less hours, but still like really concentrated of energy and like people who feel good and everything, because 44 hours a week is like so much a year.
Cool. Well, B, thank you for sharing your idea. We're gonna get to the other people in line. Yo, Coop, what's good, brother?
How you guys doing?
What's up, Coop? Good to see you. Yo, your background looks so cool. Like, where are you?
Thank you. That's a real background. It's not a Zoom background.
Yeah, I know. Where is that?
I just moved to North Haven, Maine, which is a small island. It's like a 70-minute boat ride to get here, so it's pretty isolated. I'm basically stuck here now, but I'm starting a new teaching job. We had a week of professional development, which was mostly like how are we going to deal with kids and also stay 6 feet apart and also have masks on, and it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a shit show. but it's going to be fun too. We're going to have to do everything we can to make it work. But yeah, I'm excited. It's a small school. It's a tight knit community, so everyone seems to be open-minded and ready to do whatever it takes. So yeah, I'm excited.
Wow. So you're in North Haven, Maine.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very north.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very
What
cool.
do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in COVID schools?
Well, we're pretty lucky in that North Haven has had 0 cases so far. We're pretty isolated. There's not too much back and forth. There's about there's 3 boats a day essentially. And I don't know, the biggest challenge I think is just going to be trying to keep kids like following the rules, honestly. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to be, you know, a 7th grader with tons of energy and you just want to like wrestle with your friend, but you can't get within 6 feet of them. Or you want to play sports or basketball or soccer. I mean, there's no gym. I think it's just going to be like, they're just going to have so much energy and want to like run around. And that, I mean, I'm going to be taking them outside as much as I can, I think, to start while the weather's still nice. But yeah, there's just not going to be a lot of teaching time available because in between classes, we have to move them around very carefully. We can't have too many people in the hallways at the same time. It's just going to be a challenge to really just get the time to teach. I'm going to have like maybe 45-minute classes are going to feel like 20-minute classes because of all the transition period and the cleaning. You have to clean the desks every time kids leave and go back. So it's, yeah, I think everything's going to change within the first week. It's just because nobody knows what's going to actually happen when the kids show up until we actually try it.
Yeah, it's wild. And do they give the kids the option to learn remotely? Is that a thing
They
at your
do.
school?
Yes. So we have a couple kids that are definitely going to be remoting in. So we have separate computers that we're setting up with webcams to film me in the front of the classroom. So I can still have my device that I'm using, but then there's going to be a separate device streaming via Google Meet to the kids that are at home that are learning remotely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can you repeat that, B?
I was asking who is he teaching to, because you are a teacher, but I don't know for what class and for what.
Sure. I'm teaching middle school, 7th and 8th grade math and science, and high school chemistry, physics, and physical science, which I've never taught before. The last time I took physics was about 12 years ago in high school, and same for chemistry.
Yeah, what are you doing teaching kids physics if you haven't learned physics in 12 years? Out of curiosity.
Well, I think it's hard to find a physics teacher that wants to move out to the middle of nowhere and live here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's like a beggars can't be choosers scenario.
Yeah, what are you gonna do at night, man? Like, what goes on in New Haven Island in Maine at night? Like, is there a
well, that's kind of why I'm calling in. That's kind of why I'm here. Is there's a tonight, in fact, is a silent disco party where
Yo, we're all about it.
Did I strike a nerve or what?
Whoa.
Yeah, you did, because I am very keen on silent discos.
Oh
okay,
yeah,
well,
he's all
I've
about
never
this.
participated in one before.
I love them
But
too.
I'm really excited. It was supposed to be last night, so I was hoping to come to you guys with some experience, but it got postponed due to it was raining all night, so we were going to do it tonight. I've never done it before, but essentially, there's this DJ who's on the island. She puts together a 1-hour playlist on Spotify and shares it with everyone. We all get together and just we're meeting in a field out in the middle of the island next to a beach at 8 o'clock. It's going to be dark, and we all just like 3, 2, 1 play, and then we just dance for an hour, and then afterwards I guess we hang out.
Yeah, but how do you know you're not listening to a different song than the other person? Like, what if your shit's on shuffle, yo? Like, do you notice? You know, you're moving one way, she's moving another. Like, how do you?
That's a good question. Maybe I'll shuffle my music and see if anyone can tell that I'm dancing to the wrong song. No, I think you just have to be careful and like not have it on shuffle, because she makes the playlist ahead of time and then sends it out, and then you just follow it and download all the songs, because there's no service here either. So you have to download everything in advance. But I guess my question is, why isn't this a bigger thing? Why isn't there a silent disco app already? Or why isn't there a silent disco functionality on Spotify? Like, why is it difficult for me to do that? Like, I want to just be on a train and have a t-shirt that says like, hey, join my channel, and everyone can just like log in, and now we're all grooving to the same song at the same time.
So I've looked into this, and this is something I'm currently looking into.
Nice.
Because my partner and I have this project called Groove with Gaia, where we used to, last year, we were hosting silent discos on the beach in Bali. And it was the same, let's create a playlist for Apple Music, for Spotify, and then let's get people together, 3, 2, 1, play. And so this kind of led to, how do we create more of a system for this that isn't just a WhatsApp group with some links? And then that led to a discovery of what's currently out there. And honestly, there's no good silent disco app that has really cracked into this space. Because what I think is really interesting about this is that we as a society have limited dance to specific spaces. Right? We've limited dance to clubs. We've limited dance to bars. We've limited dance to dance studios. Now, I think the interesting thing about this dance in the field or a dance at a beach, it really takes this concept of a dance floor and says, okay, a dance floor is more of a function. It's not a specific space. You know, a dance floor is what you do with a space. You know, it's not the club. It's like you can take anything. You can take the train, you can take a field, you can take a beach. Now it's a dance floor. And so I think this is unexplored space in terms of what I've seen, in terms of people looking at dance in that way and looking at the world as a dance floor in that way. I don't think anyone's done that from a technology standpoint. And the apps that I've looked at that do exist are pretty shit, I will say. But interestingly enough, Spotify, I'm pretty bullish on Spotify, because they are the first people to open this space up in a way. And what I mean by that is they recently released an API called the Spotify Connect API, which allows multiple Spotify users to sync up to the same playlist streaming at the same time. They have
I didn't know about this.
They just released it, because now I'm looking into it, trying to figure out, can we curate these silent discos in nature in a systematic way? And so by Spotify releasing that, that's kind of one of the key components. And then secondly, Spotify also last month, I'll send you this after we hop off. They did a press release around this new feature that they're launching, where you can create listening groups. So like, you as a user, I can set up a group for a playlist, and you can join, and as many people can join, and we're all listening to the same stream. So those two things are the same concept. It's just one is an API that they're offering. The other one is an actual in-app implementation. And so it's very interesting that as we're thinking about this, like, Spotify has very recently released these functionalities that open this ability for multiple people to listen to the same exact thing at the same time.
Definitely. Yeah, one of the concerns I had is licensing, right? Like, and because Spotify already has such a large network of, you know, lawyers and system and a way of paying out to creators, it would be easier for them to get away with it. I feel like I think you could get into trouble just by broadcasting songs all willy-nilly, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny because it's a very similar premise to what we're going to release in this week's newsletter. You know, I wrote up an idea for an app that it allows people to enter a room and hear a mantra playing in parallel. So you're all listening to the same mantra, the same music, effectively, at the same time. And the intention is to meditate together and to put an
Very
intention
cool.
in the middle. Same thing, same underlying technology. You have a song that's playing in parallel to many people in a shared space with the intention. One is to meditate in an inward manner, and the other one is to meditate in an outward manner through the expression of dance. So, it's interesting because the same underlying technology could be applied to both. Another thing to look into in this context is that Cloudflare just released a streaming API. It's like a bundled streaming service that you can take off the shelf and create a live stream and potentially connect it to Spotify. So you can then take that live stream, stream it into an app, stream it into a web browser, stream it wherever the fuck you want. And you can actually, like, just because Cloudflare's got all that stuff baked in, how many people are in there, their IDs, you can like integrate sign-up flow very easily. The combination of those two things could make for some very cool, very easy to build software that, just facilitates meditation.
Yeah, definitely. It's basically the same thing, technologically speaking.
Yeah. And if you are looking into this, Coop, I'm happy to hop in there with you, because this is something that I've actively been exploring. Because one thing that we want to do is look at dancing in natural spaces, like this field dance that you're doing, right? Like actually being outside, or even a public park, right? And really kind of moving with these natural elements and having that somehow, this part's still unclear, but having that somehow be linked to conservation initiatives. So that dancing on the beach is actually somehow linked to ocean conservation. That dancing in the park is somehow linked to forest conservation or reforestation, right? And kind of looking at how we can actually get people to move with each other and move in natural spaces while actually promoting the conservation of this natural beauty. So it's something I've been looking at as well. So if you are kind of looking at how to make these dances more systematized, I'd definitely be down to exchange notes and kind of dig in with you.
Yeah, for sure, man. That sounds awesome.
Well, I think it's an interesting concept because you could actually just target the dirtiest places around your city, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool idea.
Yo.
You go clean the land and you heal the land through dance, right?
Oh,
you reset the energy.
Yo.
Love that.
On the Gaia, you reset the energy on it, man. I think it'd be a beautiful marketing push because you had a bunch of things go viral, people cleaning up the land. Now you have them cleaning and then dancing on it, right?
And maybe even a live set from like an actual DJ.
Yes.
Right? And get like celebrities involved.
For sure. I think that's
that might be a little
evolution,
trickier,
right?
than like a playlist. But
Yeah,
one thing I looked into is getting like a Raspberry Pi, because you can build like your own little Wi-Fi network that way, and then people can join in from there. Because I know that it's going to be difficult when you don't have any service out in this field in the middle of nowhere. So everything's got to be localized.
Yeah, yeah. Because like
some challenges there.
If you did have service, you could have a little QR code at the dance where people can just like tap in basically. But with no service, yeah, it either has to be A, localized, or B, downloaded ahead of time.
Yeah, but that I think for the most part, we can assume that there's going to be a good cell signal where these will take place.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I guess the silent thing makes sense in this context, because if it's silent, nobody can say shit to what you're doing.
Exactly. You'd be in the middle of like a meeting or a busy mall or anywhere.
Yeah, but if we're bumping with a DJ and some speakers, it's a whole different stitch. Right?
For sure.
Dude, I can see the marketing on this though. It's very TikTokable. And like Groove with Kai is like a great name for the initiative as well. You got the fucking, you got the dirty place, the fast track, like it's just a great marketing initiative. I think it would take off. Like dance, it's a healing, and it makes perfect sense in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, if anyone's ever been to ecstatic dance, right, in Bali or wherever, it's like that concept is very limited to specific groups of people in specific places, but really it's just about moving intuitively and really just moving your body and expressing, right? If you can distribute that same permission to more people, I think there's a lot of power there, especially to do it in these natural spaces.
I agree.
But I also see the vision. Go for it, Nick.
It's also the co-creation of the space, right? Because when you're in ecstatic dance, you have another individual who's in there. You bring a whole different element. So it's really co-creation. That's what makes ecstatic dance so interesting. Like you can have like somebody who's like really feeling it, and it changes the dynamic of the space. And I also think it's beautiful when you physically participate in the creation of that space, not just during the dance, right? Where you already have this perfect yoga shala with these really attractive women who just, their fucking yoga gear coming out. It's like, no, like we just cleaned the park and we're going to celebrate what we accomplished. It's like clean the park, feel good, go home. It's like, now it's like clean the park and have a fucking dance party. That's way cooler, right? And like, I really think there's something here because you're getting people who care about their community enough. They're moving, creating the space, and then they're healing it through dance. I really think there's something here. I mean, I would do that for sure. It's so much more productive than just going to ecstatic dance. Like ecstatic dance after cleaning, I think is so much more in the ethos of really what it's about. It's connection not only to yourself, like through dance, and to your community, but also to your environment. Right?
Yeah, I want to dance while I'm cleaning, right? I want to be picking stuff up.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Dude,
I guess like how big's the cleanup? It's like you can move around.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That's really funny.
But last year we did one of the dances. We had a beach cleanup beforehand. Like we actually had people go around collecting trash, rubbish off of the beach. And then we all synced up, opening ceremony, and just grooved. And it was like, damn, that was so powerful. You have all these people coming together, cleaning up the beach, and then we're just fucking dancing. It was like, it's the best party ever.
Definitely kicks it off with some really positive energy to do that first.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah, like the entrance fee is like a bag of garbage.
There you go.
couple, yeah, that's good.
But yeah, I guess the simple answer to your question is it's unexplored space, I think, at least in terms of what
That's
I've
what
seen.
I think too. I was trying to Google like what people were doing, and it just doesn't seem like it's something that people have really tried, right? It's still hardware based. It's still like you have to buy the headphones and the receivers and all that stuff, but it shouldn't be that way anymore.
It doesn't have to be. If you have a phone and headphones,
and with COVID, you can't share equipment anyway. Everyone's got to have their own device. Everyone has to stay far apart. It's like perfect.
Exactly. I think it's perfect for social distancing, 6 feet apart.
Definitely.
Especially out.
We got to learn how to socialize in a new way.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you guys.
I like the ethos. I would just do it through TikTok. I would TikTok that shit. I would make your primary platform TikTok, and I would just make it so TikTokable. Just start with you and your girl, man. Clean it, dance on it, and start the movement. You guys have everything you need right now.
Yeah. So we have been doing some dance in nature. We created a groove with Gaia TikTok, and now we're at almost 12,000 followers. That's all based around the content that we've been putting out around nature and movement and mindfulness, and so I think if we did want to test some of this stuff out, Coop, we could just there's channels to pump it through,
Definitely.
Dude, find the dirtiest patch in Hawaii. I'm telling you, set up a camera, find the dirtiest patch in Hawaii, clean it, dance on it, TikTok it.
Bring some trash if you have to.
That's it. That's it. Like you don't need to do anything. There's no app to be built yet. Just fucking do that, and that's the beginning of the movement. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because it's like building a mobile app is an endeavor. It's an endeavor, right? It's like how can we get this happening, you know, how can we you spread this and then eventually kind of centralize it?
100%. Concierge model, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Make it happen without all the investments. And
yeah,
building.
exactly. But then part of me thinks that,
yeah, you get 20 people cleaning shit and dancing on TikTok, I'll put money in it. Like it's just like you're building up the marketing, you're creating a viral loop that leads to
For
Groove
sure.
and Gaia. You know, it's like you're basically building a fitness app, right? You build up the audience, right? We were talking about this earlier. You build up the audience, and like I would just focus on creating that viral loop. Dude, it would be so fire on Reddit. You just have like that be the entry point, and then the software will kind of emerge on its own. Like at that point, you're gonna have everything you need. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well,
when's
I'm going
this
to check out these
dance?
APIs. Oh, it's at 8:00 tonight.
Okay, exciting.
I've got a new drone that I just bought that I haven't played with much. So maybe I'll try to. I'll see if they're comfortable with it. Maybe I'll try to get some
Hell
cool
yeah.
aerial footage
Yes.
of the
I
silent
don't know
disco.
if it's in the ethos. I don't know. Like SAG dance man is normally like, you know, no cameras.
I might. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at home tonight. That's probably a
Just
good
a
idea.
drone
But then
flying
next week,
over.
Yeah. But yeah,
just for
Coop,
some content.
what is the population of this island you live on?
It's like
How many
500.
people? 500?
Yeah.
Oh my
Tiny.
God.
How many? How many under 60?
There's like
Yeah.
20 kids in the high school.
Wait, there's 20 kids in the high school?
20
Yep.
kids in the high school.
Yeah, last year
What?
graduating class was 4 students.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
tiny.
That's like private
tiny.
class.
Dude, that's such a
I
fascinating
have
experience.
physics. I have 1 student. Math. I have 1 student. Chemistry. I have 4 students. I mean, we're just gonna like have fun and like build projects. I think.
How many teachers are there
That's
in the
funny.
school for 20 kids?
Are there more
Oh,
teachers than
too
students?
many.
Yeah, how many
No.
teachers do you have?
Well, that's why I teach like 6 different classes across math and science, because you can't hire enough teachers because then you'd have too many. So everyone has to do like a lot. Everyone wears a lot of hats. But yeah, there's like 10, 12 teachers, something like that.
That's a crazy ratio.
Also, Coop,
Yeah,
I sent you a link on the chat, just FYI.
I saw that. Yeah, I opened it up. It looks like it's live, ready to try out.
Yeah.
Your squad can now stream simultaneously using Spotify's group session.
I was honestly, when they dropped that, I was like, what? This space is open.
Yeah.
I'm like, the time.
It was 1 month ago.
Shit. Yeah, I know.
Well, because watch
Yo,
parties have gotten popular like on Netflix and Hulu, right? So it's essentially a
Oh,
watch
yeah.
party, but with music.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Mm-hmm.
And conservation.
Yes.
And conservation.
that.
That's what makes it. That's what ties it all
Yes.
together. I love
Yep.
that.
I do think it makes it way more appealing. Like ecstatic dancing is one thing, but going into my community, finding the most underserved piece of land, right? Because nobody likes trash. And it would be great to have an excuse to go clean that trash. I'm going to fucking clean that shit, and I'm going to dance on it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to get
seems
some
more
social
appealing.
cred on all my, social media.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the sweet internet points right in your
Yes.
Shareable
Exactly.
content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody
Cool.
got any other ideas floating around?
No, I was listening and I was just thinking like, I think I can see it like around me when I go to the beach and I see trash, I just take it and I just go to throw it away. And I always have people who look at me as if I'm weird. And I think if you make it something funny and beautiful and like a movement, I think people will maybe stop to be ashamed of, or just like make it something happy and something that like, because without music, yeah, I think people are more separated, but if you put music with everyone, it brings something of together, and maybe like people will follow the movement of the body and movement of the ideas together. Well, I think it can be a really good thing.
Yeah.
I actually think there's something to Coop's idea of the pick up trash dance. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Like, there should be like a fucking, like yamming down to like grab them bottles and like,
yeah. Especially because that's what
Kobe
TikTok
it,
is all
you
about,
know?
is like these predetermined dance moves, right? Like someone invents a new dance and then everyone copies it, right? As far as I understand,
like
I haven't
the bottle
participated in.
pickup.
Exactly. There's got to be
right.
like a move
Fucking
to it.
trash picking up dances. Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking tying of the trash bag,
Yeah, or you got like the dual like grabbers, for picking up cigarette butts.
That's good.
I actually think there's something here. Some of the shit I say on TikTok is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I gotta get a TikTok, I guess. I haven't done that yet.
Don't do it, Coop. Don't fucking
Yeah.
download that filth.
I'll swing you.
You don't?
No, I don't. It's like, I think it's because in
Weird
France,
world.
most people who has TikTok, they are like really TV reality girls who want to twerk and show their body. Well, it doesn't make it really attractive in France.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, I don't know about TikTok, man.
Tickety-tock.
I think we should ban it. Sorry. I don't know. It's a weird platform, man. And every time I open that shit, it is just some weird shit, man. I don't know what it's trying to optimize for, but I don't like it.
I think TikTok's leaning into some interesting space. I think, and I compare it more to YouTube than Instagram. I actually think it's a more fair comparison in terms of what they're creating. It seems to be like they're building this content ecosystem. They're building a content ecosystem, rather than, and it feels more like I don't know, it feels more like YouTube than Insta. It's just in a mobile format. But it's pretty interesting. The thing that gives me a bit of pause is all these trends and all these like dances and things like that. It's like that stuff I personally can kind of do without, all the kind of cheesy trends. But I think in terms of what we've been using it for is to build a community. We're just going to put out the shit that we want to be putting out around movement, mindfulness, and Mother Gaia, and see who really fucks with it. If you resonate with this, come through. And then we want to start this broader movement with movement and conservation.
Dude, you've got some videos there with like more than 200,000 views. Is that possible?
Yeah.
What the hell?
And so what happened is since we've been quarantined, we've been doing a lot of meditation videos. But before that, it's like a lot of gardening, a lot of, dancing. We even have this one where I'm doing some spoken word and Cam is like interpretive dancing. But either way, we're trying to build an engaged community around some of the stuff that we would want to incorporate into this groove with Gaia movement of actually getting people out, connecting with nature, connecting with themselves, and benefiting the planet, and actually understanding our connection to Earth and our connection to Gaia. So that's the ethos.
Trash and movement, man. Trash and movement. That's I just see it. I see it. It's gonna go.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move. Yeah, it's interesting. But then this is the thing. Here's the thing about TikTok I don't get. Everything's blown the fuck up. Like you go on Instagram, it's like you have a more like linear sort of like everything on TikTok just feels like hockey stick. It's all built for virality. And you got to remember, it's also Chinese, and the Chinese love inflating numbers. So I'm always questioning when I look at anything that's like TikTok related content. I'm like, what is the actual impact and scale of this? Like, I don't. It's all weird to me. I don't know. From a numbers perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting because picking up trash recently like went viral, right? Like it became like a trend.
Huge,
taking pictures
globally.
of it. And then the dancing on TikTok went viral, and now it's like we're just bringing it together.
I think the combination would be fire. And I think it would also be like not only a TikTok thing, it could be like many other platforms as well. The content works.
I agree. Also, question for Coop and Berenice. With this webcast and with having people on and really sharing ideas and sharing concepts and brainstorming, collabing, what do y'all think would be the best way to maintain the community and maintain the communication beyond the webcasts? Like Berenice, for example, if someone was into a certain space or interested in the same thing and tackling this issue of stress in the workplace, and they wanted to get in touch, maybe they're a designer, maybe they're whomever, do you think like a Slack community? Do you think a Facebook group? Do you think just putting your email out there? What do y'all think?
No, I think Slack is pretty interactive. For example, like it's my community around me, but like we are all deleting Facebook. Like, we are all getting scared. We don't want to share IDs there anymore. And emails is a bit like linear. I think it's never a good way to interfere with someone when you want to sell yourself to someone, like, I'm interesting. Like, it's never really interactive, but Slack is better, I think. And I think with our job, we are all like on Slack, where you just have like one more thing, and it's like really accessible. You have access like almost every day. Well, I think it's a good way.
Cool.
Yeah, I was going to recommend Discord, which is essentially the same thing as Slack, but less of a professional vibe, more of like a kind of gamer vibe, but it's still, it's free.
Discord.
First of all. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do something. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but
yeah.
I mean, I think Facebook, we should just have a Facebook group, period. Even, I don't think it should be one or the other. I think it should be Facebook plus a Slack. But dude, I'm in so many dead Slack groups.
Yeah, that's the thing about Slack is you need, you really need constant engagement for it to bring value to people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
You mentioned this was on Twitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live streaming right now.
Cool. What's the Twitch channel, just so I can check it out?
No NDAs.
Okay.
No NDAs, moonshots.
I've just recently gotten really into Twitch. I've been following a lot of coders. There's people that are coding on Twitch now, like crazy, and I thought about trying that out. I want to do some Python programming and just live stream it.
Yes, hell yeah.
You should.
I'm gonna just start.
I got a couple followers playing chess. People enjoyed watching playing chess. Even me sucking
People
at
watch
chess.
the craziest stuff. I mean, it's such a great way to like stay focused on your work too, like as a streamer, like not just as a selfish way of like saying, I'm just gonna commit to working on this project for an hour, and people can come in and watch and they can help and collaborate. It's amazing seeing all these commenters helping out projects.
I did that for a minute. Like when I was working at Arcade City, it was we rebuilt Uber on the blockchain. We had like a crypto coin. It was all transparency, and I literally like built half the app on Twitch live.
Oh, that's awesome! And people help out.
It was fun. No, none of them fucking helped. They were just talking shit. It didn't help at all. It was a huge distraction. No, not at all.
Well, that's it's either a distraction or it's a focus tool. It can go both ways.
No, it's not a focus tool at all. You're going to be so unfocused.
I've seen some people stay on task.
What are you doing? Like, oh, I know React. Like, what do you think about it? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to like get this button to like hit the server to do this thing, and I'm like, and they're like, oh, fuck Arcade City, you know, like Bitcoin all the way, ETH. There's like crypto nerds coming on talking shit about the coin, and that was my Twitch experience.
I think that's like a special like group of people that are into crypto, maybe, but.
Yeah, crypto and talking shit. The worst of the worst.
They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
all right, we're at the hour.
Yeah, it's been real. Thank you so much, B and Coop and Bill.
Yeah,
welcome
definitely.
to the team. Appreciate you guys, and we're gonna pop this thing on YouTube. So
cool.
We'll
Yo, Coop, what's the best way to